We have the chance of showers later this afternoon. I'll show you the timeline and why we may not see much rain.
Mother's Day violence. A man is due in court today after a shooting at a restaurant in Durham during brunch. What led up to the shooting and the victim's condition this morning.
Remembering the fallen. Today, a ceremony in Raleigh for the more than 20 officers who died in the line of duty. How they're being honored during National Police Week.
We're following those stories and more. WRAL News at 8 starts at just in 30 seconds on Fox 50.
At Leith Honda in Raleigh and Auto Park Honda in Cary, we make your buying process easy. And with every new car purchase, you'll enjoy complimentary oil changes and exceptional service. It's no wonder we've earned so many 5-star reviews. You'll also get peace of mind pricing with every used vehicle, and if it's not the perfect fit, no problem. Bring it back within 3 days for an easy exchange. Visit our showroom at Auto Park Honda in Cary or Leith Honda in Raleigh. It's easier here.
Your number one source for local news. This is WRAL, coverage you can count on.
Good morning. So glad you're with us this morning. And of course, it's a comfortable start to your morning. But when there's any chance of any type of wet weather, that gets our attention these days. Let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, tracking it all for us. Elizabeth?
And we're going to start with Dual Doppler 5000 radar. Definitely seeing some rain up into Virginia and just the very tippity top there of Mecklenburg County, Virginia, which is our viewing area. Beyond that, it's really, you have to get almost past I-77 in order to see much rain. Just our northwestern mountains are seeing a bit of it. We do have a small chance. It looks like as that band of rain slips southward, it's going to weaken. And so up near the Virginia line, around lunchtime, about a 30% chance. And then later on during the afternoon to right around the evening commute, we could see another quick band of some showers. But it just doesn't look like we're going to see a whole lot today. We're dry this morning, and again, a few showers midday and potentially again for the evening commute. In Franklinton, it is cloudy right now, 62 in the Triangle. We have a northeast wind right now at 9 miles per hour. It's going to keep our temperatures cool today. 62 in Durham, 65 Fayetteville, 62 up in South Hill. And we'll see temperatures around lunchtime in the low 70s. But as that front comes through, behind it, we're going to see temperatures dropping quickly. So during the evening commute, we could see temperatures in the low to mid 60s. We do have another chance for rain on Wednesday. Right now, that one is looking maybe a little bit more potent. We'll take a closer look coming up. Chris?
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. A live look at I-40 Lake Wheeler Road, and you can see those lanes heading into Raleigh definitely congested. Nothing out of the ordinary for this time of morning. This is one of those spots that we typically tend to see that slow movement heading into the capital city. Let's take a look at some other areas right now coming in from Wake Forest on Capitol Boulevard. Down ever so slightly to a 7-minute delay, but you combine the rush hour commute with all those stoplights, and you're bound to get some delays coming into downtown Raleigh. One of the other spots that we've been watching, and we always watch this time of morning, is I-87 coming in from Knightdale. That is down to a 2-minute delay. That has improved significantly over the past hour or so. So really the only potential trouble spot, we'll put that in quotes, is coming in from Wake Forest. And again, that is pretty typical behavior this morning. Nothing making you late coming in from other major areas, and then heading into downtown Durham, not noticing anything major. It's just coming in from NC 50. It's about a 5 to 10-minute delay as you head into downtown Durham this morning.
Chris, thank you very much. New this morning, part of Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh back open after a water main break overnight. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker last night as teams made repairs near I-440 interchange. They finished up around midnight. It's still not clear what caused that water main break, though. Well, today, the man accused of shooting someone at a restaurant in Durham during a Mother's Day brunch will be in court. This all happened at Silver Spoon Restaurant on North Roxborough Street. WRAL's Carly Haynes has the latest on that investigation.
Durham police say a man was shot when he was trying to break up a fight between two of the restaurant's employees. Durham police arrested 55-year-old Samer Solomon Al-Mahmoud and charged him with assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, inflicting serious injury. Durham police say he was one of the two employees who had gotten into a fight, and the man was shot when he tried to intervene. This all happened at 11:30 in the morning in the middle of Mother's Day brunch. It caused some customers to run out of the restaurant.
It's really terrifying to think that, you know, something could have happened to one of my children and my wife on Mother's Day of all days, where we could have saw something really gruesome happen.
Al-Mahmoud is in jail under no bond. He's set to appear in court at 11 o'clock this morning. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, Durham.
17 American passengers who are aboard that Hunter virus-stricken cruise ship are back in the United States this morning. Those Americans arrived in Omaha, Nebraska around 2:30 this morning. They will be monitored at the National Quarantine Site at the University of Nebraska Medical Center. One of the passengers arriving in Nebraska tested positive for the virus. Officials have confirmed a French woman tested positive on an overnight evacuation flight to Paris. 3 people have died so far from this outbreak.
And Ken, I should also mention that the one person who tested positive of that 17 batch, they are going to be going to a biocontainment unit at the University of Nebraska. And what you're seeing right here are different feeds behind me. You have one NBC News reporter who is outside that medical center right there, and another reporter at a local station out at a different perspective there. But what I'm going to show you right here is the cruise ship, because at last check, 54 people are still aboard this. You may recall that it disembarked and the Canary Islands, essentially, we know that some of the passengers needed to be flown to the Netherlands. At least that's the hope. But this is just something that is coming from a fallout from what we have been reporting regarding what has happened on that cruise ship. We've been hearing from so many experts in terms of the severity and what this means. A lot of people online, you may have seen on social media, wondering, will this be the next COVID situation? But we've been talking to people, as you know, Ken, who have been saying it's not necessarily going to be like that.
Yeah, that's a good point, Chris. And of course, you can find all our coverage on the Hunter virus outbreak on WRAL's YouTube channel. You can hear from an American woman who was diagnosed with the virus in 2023, how contagious it is, and a whole lot more information about the Hunter virus. Just search Hunter virus. Well, the man charged in connection to a 2024 deadly shooting on a Go Durham bus will be in court today. 55-year-old Raymond Dixon was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. He's accused of shooting and killing Christopher Hart on that bus. This is video from that scene on November 12, 2024, just after 9 o'clock in the morning on Holloway Street. Search warrants indicate Dixon shot and killed Hart in retaliation for a shooting that happened hours before. He's being held with no bond. Well, the remains of a U.S. soldier with North Carolina ties have been found in Morocco. First Lieutenant Kendrick Key Jr. was one of 2 U.S. soldiers who disappeared during a recreational hike in Morocco while off duty. He was 27 years old. Key earned a bachelor's degree from Methodist University in Fayetteville. Key and the other soldier were reported missing May 2nd after participating in a yearly multinational military exercise. A Moroccan military search team found Key's body in the water along the shoreline Saturday morning. Officials believe he fell off a cliff. Search efforts will continue for the second missing soldier. Happening today, people all across Wake County will get a chance to share their thoughts about the next budget. There will be a public hearing today on the Wake County manager's most recent budget proposal. The more than $2 billion budget would also come with a 2-cent property tax increase that could cost homeowners an extra $90 a year. Today's hearing will be at the Wake County Commons building on Kaya Drive in Raleigh. That starts at 7 o'clock this evening. Of course, we are trying to get more information this morning about a weekend crash that injured 11 people in Goldsboro. Dashcam video capturing the moment an 18-wheeler plowed through cars stopped at a light on US 70. 2 of the 11 people who were hurt had to be flown to local hospitals. We're trying to learn their conditions and whether there will be any charges filed in this accident. Well, President Trump is rejecting Iran's latest response to the U.S. peace proposal. The president is calling Iran's message, quote, totally unacceptable. President Trump was critical of Iran's response in a Truth Social post. Iranian state media says Iran's message was delivered through Pakistani mediators. As peace talks stall, fighting continued in the Persian Gulf over the weekend, more than a month after a ceasefire was announced. Iran is also still blocking traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, which is disrupting major oil shipments. Well, as peace talks stall and the Strait of Hormuz remains closed, oil prices are rising. Brent crude rose more than 3% yesterday to more than $104 a barrel. U.S. crude oil also rose to $98. The Strait of Hormuz is a key waterway. About a fifth of the world's oil supply travels through that critical waterway. Well, the newest gas prices from AAA shows that in Raleigh, the average price of a gallon of gas, $4.17, which is actually down 2 cents from yesterday. In the Durham-Chapel Hill area, that average is $4.25. And to the south of us in Fayetteville is a little less at $4.06. Well, it's National Police Week, and today fallen law enforcement officers will be honored in Raleigh. WRAL's Ellie Cadlebar is live outside Hayes Barton Church this morning. And Ellie, this ceremony will honor more than 20 officers who've died in the line of duty.
Yeah, Ken, and just within the past 5 minutes, we've seen Raleigh police show up and start to pull out wreaths from that van right there. We know that there's going to be at least 25 wreaths, all to honor fallen Wake County officers. And we know among them will be Roger Smith, Gabriel Torres, and Ned Bird. Again, 25 fallen officers will be honored this morning. Now, Officer Smith was shot and killed in the Wake Med Garner emergency room last November. Raleigh police officer Gabriel Torres was shot and killed during the Hedingham mass shooting in 2022. And then Wake County Deputy Ned Bird was shot and killed while on duty in 2022 as well. There will be several events this week coordinated by the Raleigh Police Department Foundation to honor law enforcement officers. The ceremony this morning will start at 10:30 right here at Hayes Barton Baptist Church. And you'll also see tonight, starting at 7 p.m., the WRAL Tower will be lit up in blue to honor National Police Week. You'll also see that several buildings downtown are lit up in blue as well throughout the week. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
Time now, 8:11, killed on a runway, where the federal investigation stands this morning after someone was hit and killed by a plane on a Denver runway. Also preparing for the 4th, North Carolina getting ready for a big event in Raleigh to mark America's 250th anniversary, what the festival will have to offer. Let's welcome back meteorologist Elizabeth.
We have cloud cover out there as you're stepping out the door and a couple of chances for rain. They're both small, just about a 30% chance at lunchtime and a 40% chance during the evening commute. I'll let you know if you'll be one of the ones that sees it. 8:14, we take a look at Rocky Mount Mills. Lots of cloud cover. Those clouds have really thickened up in the last couple of hours as our next front to the north starts to dip a little bit farther to the south. 62 in Raleigh, 61 in Wilson, and 61 here in Rocky Mount as well. If you're heading out the door for exercise, temperatures, of course, are pretty comfortable there in the low to mid 60s this morning. We will climb into the low 70s at lunchtime, and at that point, we'll have a very small chance of a shower. Also, again, during the late afternoon and evening, a small chance of a shower, and temperatures will likely take a plunge pretty quickly once we get into the mid to latter part of the afternoon. After that, we're pretty steady temperature-wise with a chance of rain again on Wednesday. Chris?
Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Live look at I-85 at NC-55. This is in Durham as you're getting ready to connect to exit 178. Everything flowing pretty smoothly so far there. And over the course of the morning, we've just noticed a few little delay spots here and there, whether you're heading into downtown Raleigh or downtown Durham. But one of those is up to about 15 minutes. That's westbound coming in from NC-50. So we'll keep tabs on that. Aside from that, no major delays if you're coming in from farther north or if you're coming in from Hillsborough, Chapel Hill, or downtown Raleigh. Now we're going to take a look heading into downtown Raleigh and other delay times you should watch for coming up.
Thanks, Chris. A developing story now out of Texas this morning. Police are investigating after 6 people were found dead inside a Union Pacific train boxcar. This happened in Laredo, which is along the Mexico border. The ages of the victims and the origin of the train not yet immediately known. A Union Pacific spokesperson says the company is saddened by this incident and it's working closely with law enforcement on this investigation. The National Transportation Safety Board reporting it's gathering information about the evacuation of a Frontier Airlines flight in Denver. This after the plane hit and killed a person on the runway Friday night. Right now, officials are looking into the procedures surrounding getting the passengers off the aircraft. Some passengers are seen carrying their luggage as they navigated the chute out of the aircraft. The airport says 12 passengers out of the 224 suffered minor injuries. A recall alert to tell you about this morning. Several snack products being recalled due to salmonella concerns. That includes Good and Gather Mexican street corn sold at Target stores. It also includes various nut mixes at various stores under the brands Southern Style Nuts, Fisher, and Squirrel. The FDA says the seasoning tested negative for salmonella before being used on products. The recall is a precautionary measure taken by the manufacturer. North Carolina is preparing for a major 4th of July celebration. The Department of Natural and Cultural Resources announcing Capitol 250 NC Freedom Fest. It will be an all-day affair at the state capitol in Raleigh to celebrate America's 250th birthday. Organizers say it's a chance to honor North Carolina's first and freedom legacy while celebrating arts, history, and culture.
it really is going to be all the things. There's going to be historical interpreters doing kind of encampments and military through the ages. So we're going to have both a Revolutionary War area and a military through the ages area. There'll be exhibits inside the Capitol.
The Free Festival will also feature music from Tiff Merritt and Reese Palmer. It's one of many American 250 NC events happening all across our state. Starting today, it will now be easier to get around Chapel Hill. The transit system will be expanding its service schedule. All routes will run every day of the week. Previously, trips and routes were redlined. A portion of a very busy Durham Street will be closed through the fall. We're talking about Duke Street between West Trinity Avenue and Monmouth Avenue. This is for South LB Restoration Project. The closure is expected to start later this month. 808 West Trinity Avenue will be turned into streams of wetlands. The goal is to create a natural buffer that will filter polluted stormwater from downtown and nearby neighborhoods. Well, right now, crews are investigating a fire in Chapel Hill. This happened at a house on Redbud Road. WR's Carly Haynes just arrived on that scene. And Carly, what do you...
Get because of the crime scene tape right there. I want to... scene that's happening here. This is on Redbud Road in Chapel Hill. We started to see some neighbors gathering around just to see what's going on. A lot of firefighters here right now from Chapel Hill Fire Department. The good news is we started to see them slow down their work just about 15 minutes ago. They were really running in there. So this is good news that things have slowed down a little bit. It shows us that it's possible this fire is contained, but we are seeing some ambulances on scene right now. And of course, this crime scene tape is still up. So the investigation is still going on. They know that we're here right now. They're working to get us some more information about what happened. Again, this is all unfolding right now. We just arrived minutes ago, so we're hoping to bring you a lot more information in the next few minutes. Back to you all.
All right, Carly Haynes live in Chapel Hill with some breaking developments. We'll get back to her in the next half hour, I'm sure. Well, the final day of the Cherry Point Air Show yesterday brought the speed and some heat. Yeah, the Wall of Fire, always a crowd pleaser. Sutton Young is a WRAL director here, and he shot this video. He said spectators could really feel the heat from the bleachers. The Blue Angels were the headliners, celebrating 80 years of excellence. Plenty of other aircraft performed jaw-dropping maneuvers. The Marines' AV-AB Harrier jet also made a special appearance before retiring next month. Beautiful weather there over the weekend. Let's check in with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with how our Monday is shaping up.
Not only was there a wall of fire, it was just a hot day yesterday. We hit 84 right here in the Triangle area, but we're not likely to see temperatures that warm anytime soon. Over the weekend, also near Wilmington, there was an EF1 tornado that touched down. You could see roofs were damaged. Some of those outbuildings also damaged there. It was a small storm, and there wasn't widespread severe weather down there in Columbus County, which is it's a county just south and west of the Wilmington area, but they definitely have some cleanup that they'll have to do for today. We take a look at what's happening here. Lots of cloud cover over downtown Raleigh, and the clouds have really thickened up across our area as the next front approaches from the west. It is 62, and we have a northeast wind at 9 miles per hour, which will keep our temperatures cool today. Cold front up to the north, and not really working its way into our viewing area just yet, but it's likely to be Person County, Mecklenburg County, Virginia that begins to see that rain first, and it may all be confined to our northern counties as we get through the day today. It just doesn't look like this one's going to make a big push across our area, unfortunately. Here's a look at Futurecast, and you can see around 9 o'clock some of that rain again up near the Virginia line. We push it ahead, maybe a little sprinkle near the Triangle area at noon, and watch out south of Clinton. There is a low risk for some severe storms down there. We could see 1 or 2 cells pop up. This is a look at 3 o'clock, and you can see that band of rain again trying to make a run at us and just doesn't really have much success. So this is not going to be a big rainmaker for us, but again, during the day, just watch that southern tip of Sampson County where there could be an isolated severe storm. Our next weather maker comes on Wednesday. That'll be another front. This one looks like a fairly late in the day or even overnight system. 4 o'clock, we're still pretty dry, but notice as we get into the overnight hours and very early Thursday morning, we see that coming through. Hoping for a little better chance for rain. Right now, it looks like maybe 1/4 to 1/2 inch. We need one of those good soakers like we saw last week where we had in some places 1 to 2 inches, but that is not in our forecast for this week. What is in the forecast is mostly temperatures near normal until we get to the weekend. And then it's hot again, 90 on Sunday, Chris.
All right, Elizabeth, yeah, definitely heating up this weekend. Thankfully, things cooling down on the roads. It's not quite as busy as it was earlier in the morning, at least from this vantage point. I-87 at Smithfield Road. Everything going just fine in both directions so far. The delay times have really come down. In fact, there's no delay now heading in from Knightdale on I-87, whereas just about an hour ago was estimated at 10 to 15 minutes. Also, some encouraging news coming in from Wake Forest. That delay has been cut in half to about 4 minutes on Capitol Boulevard. Elsewhere, coming in from Garner, Apex, or Durham, you're looking at minimal delay heading into downtown Raleigh. The only other slowdown we're noticing is heading into downtown Durham, coming in from NC50. We'll take a closer look at that coming up in a few minutes.
Hi, Chris, thanks. Boosting tourism. North Carolina using content creators to bring people to our state. WRAL investigates how your tax dollars are being used.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning at 8:26. I'm Ken Smith. Let's go over and get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, tracking your forecast so you know what to expect as you head out the door.
We're starting with dual Doppler 5000 radar, where you can see some rain up to our north, and some of that is likely to drop down into our area as we get closer to lunchtime, then maybe again closer to the evening commute. Our chances for rain are minimal for today. A lot of us won't see any at all, and the people who do see it, it's likely to be under 1/4 inch. We take a look at Rocky Mount Mills. We're seeing cloudy skies right now. Temperatures are mostly in the low to mid 60s, 65 in Fayetteville, 61 in Wilson and Rocky Mount, 62 in Raleigh. This afternoon and evening, we do have a small chance for rain if you're headed out with your kids to their after-school practices. You may want to take along an umbrella just to be safe. Chris?
Elizabeth, right now in the WRAL Traffic Center, I-85, taking a live look at that. Thankfully, no major issues, everything flowing pretty smoothly. This is I-85 near NC55, just toward that exit ramp, exit 178 as you're connecting to 540. Delay times continue to come down heading into downtown Durham. Nothing making you late coming in from Raleigh. Goose eggs for Chapel Hill and Hillsborough. And things are starting to improve as you're coming in on NC50. It was a 15-minute delay, now down to a 7-minute delay. Changed right there as we were on the air this morning here. Ken?
All right, Chris, thanks. Today, the man charged in connection with the 2024 deadly shooting on a Go Durham bus will be in court. 55-year-old Raymond Dixon is charged with first-degree murder. He's accused of killing Christopher Hart. Warrants indicate Dixon shot Hart in retaliation for another shooting. Next on Fox 50, the latest in a Mother's Day shooting in Durham that left one man critically hurt. Also coming up on Today, stepping into the world of super fake handbags. All that and more coming up.
We have the chance of showers later this afternoon. I'll show you the timeline and why we may not see much rain.
Mother's Day violence. A man is due in court today after a shooting at a restaurant in Durham during brunch. What led up to the shooting and the victim's condition this morning.
Remembering the fallen. Today, a ceremony in Raleigh for the more than 20 officers who died in the line of duty. How they're being honored during National Police Week.
Thanks so much for joining us this morning. You're waking up to cloudy, albeit comfortable morning. Let's go to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Weather Center, tracking how our Monday's shaping up, Elizabeth.
So we have this rain that's sitting here up into Virginia and near the Virginia line. That is going to gradually sink southward, but as it does, it's going to leave a lot of that rain up to the north. So we only have a 30% chance of seeing some showers around lunchtime, and then again this evening, right around the time of the evening commute, it's a 30 to 40% chance. We're dry this morning for sure, and then we're going to watch that front dipping southward again. Just a chance at lunchtime and a chance this evening. It is cloudy as we take a look down Fayetteville Street this morning, 62 degrees. So the northeast wind at 9 miles per hour. That's going to keep things on the cooler side. Right now, temperatures are in the low to mid 60s, and we'll climb into the low 70s right around lunchtime. But with the front coming through and a small chance for rain, temperatures will be dropping into the low to mid 60s during the evening commute. We have another chance for rain later this week. We'll look at that in just a few minutes. Chris?
All right, Elizabeth, thank you. Meanwhile, in the traffic center this morning, things are flowing smoothly across most of our major routes. I-87 previously had some pretty big delay times, as it typically does during the 7 o'clock hour. But here we are at about 8:32 this morning. Had to check on that. And delay times have come down pretty dramatically. So as we kind of highlight that for you, you can see that it's only down to about 4 minutes now coming in from Wake Forest, whereas earlier in the morning it was about an 8 or a 9 minute delay. So good news on all fronts, and no delay coming in from I-87 from Knightdale heading into downtown Raleigh and connecting to the Beltline. Nothing else to show for it as we go from Apex and Durham and Garner all into downtown Raleigh. And even as you head into Durham, some of the delay times that we were noticing moments ago have really come down dramatically. It was originally a 15-minute delay coming in from NC50. That's now down to a 5-minute delay. Nothing making it late coming in from Chapel Hill, Hillsborough, or Raleigh so far this morning.
All right, Chris, thanks. We are staying on top of some breaking news right now. Firefighters are responding to reports of a fire at a home in Chapel Hill. Crews were dispatched to Red Bud Road just after 7 o'clock this morning, and that's where we find WRAL's Carly Haynes. Carly, you just arrived at the scene a short time ago. What do you know so far?
Yeah, we got here within the past 30 minutes, and even just over that period of time, we have seen the scene change significantly. So right now, Chapel Hill Fire Department, they're here. We have several police officers on scene right now, but a lot of the immediacy of this has slowed down, and that shows us that it's possible this fire is contained at the moment. When we're looking at the house, we're not seeing any significant damage that we can see from the outside. Of course, they're still investigating. They're going in and out of that building. The fire chief came by a few minutes ago. He told us that the fire started just before 7 o'clock this morning. That's when they got the call. But he couldn't give us more information at this point. We're hoping to get details about whether there were any injuries or whether there was anybody inside the house. Hoping to get that within the next few minutes. But it seems like things have really slowed down here. Of course, investigation is ongoing. We have this caution tape that's still up. So we're going to stay here and hopefully bring you more information within the next few minutes. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Chapel Hill.
New this morning, part of Capitol Hill Boulevard in Raleigh is back open after a water main break overnight. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker last night as crews made repairs near the I-440 interchange. They finished up around midnight. It's still not clear, though, what caused that water main break. Well, today, the man accused of shooting someone at a restaurant in Durham during the Mother's Day brunch will be in court. Police say the victim in the hospital after he was shot while trying to break up a fight between two employees. The shooting happened yesterday at the Silver Spoon restaurant in North Roxborough Street. Police say Samir Suleiman Al-Mahmoud is facing a charge of assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill and inflict serious injury. Officers say he pulled out a gun during the argument. That is when the victim tried to step in and stop it and was shot. The witness we spoke with says this shooting turned a day of celebration into a day of reflection.
It's really terrifying to think that, you know, something could have happened to one of my children and my wife on Mother's Day of all days, where we could have saw something really gruesome happen.
Yeah, that gentleman, you can hear the concern in his voice. The victim was taken to a Durham area hospital in critical condition. We're trying to get an update on that person's condition this morning, of course. We will continue to ask Durham police about what led up to this argument. New this morning, 2 passengers who were on that cruise ship connected to that Hunter virus cases have tested positive for the virus. One of those passengers is a French woman, the other an American. This morning, 54 passengers and crew still remain on that ship that's currently moored in the Canary Islands. Now, all 17 U.S. passengers arrived this morning in Omaha, Nebraska, to the National Quarantine Center in Omaha, Nebraska. The Department of Health and Human Services says the American that tested positive is not showing symptoms. However, another passenger is showing mild symptoms. Health leaders say the passengers will be assessed by the doctors for individual quarantine needs. If anyone starts to show symptoms, they could be moved to an even more secure facility nearby.
Are they developing chills, muscle aches and pains, any GI symptoms, any shortness of breath, any of the symptoms that are associated with an infectious syndrome like hantavirus? They will be looking for those.
The center has a history of housing people exposed to highly infectious diseases. Back in 2014, it hosted 17 Americans infected with the Ebola virus, and in 2020, coronavirus patients from China were taken there as well. Well, hantavirus spreads through contact with infected rodents. The strain linked to the cruise ship is particularly dangerous because it can transmit human to human. Many of us may have seen people online speculating of this outbreak and whether or not it could be the next COVID-19 pandemic. We talked with a local infectious disease specialist who says that is very unlikely.
I don't think most of us expect this to turn into anything big like that. Most of the reported hantavirus clusters to this point have been relatively small. The transmission events really do tend to occur only among people who directly live together, perhaps take care of sick individuals, or are really in these truly close contact situations.
Health experts say hantavirus typically spreads after symptoms begin. Well, you can find all our coverage on the hantavirus outbreak on the WRAL YouTube channel. You can hear from an American woman who was diagnosed with the virus back in 2023, how contagious the disease is, and a whole lot more information. Well, the man charged in connection to a deadly shooting on a Go Durham bus back in 2024 is due in court today. 55-year-old Raymond Dixon was arrested over the weekend and charged with first-degree murder. He's accused of shooting and killing Christopher Hart on the bus. It happened on Holloway Street just around 9 o'clock in the morning on November 12th in 2024. Search warrants indicate Dixon shot and killed Hart in retaliation for a shooting that happened hours before. Dixon is being held without bond. President Trump is rejecting Iran's latest response to the U.S. peace proposal aimed at ending that war. The president posted out about the response last night on Truth Social. He said he reviewed the response from what he called Iran's so-called representatives. He also called the response totally unacceptable. The response mainly focused on maritime safety and traffic in the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz, as well as ending the war. But it had no mention of nuclear weapons. That despite President Trump saying last week the U.S. proposal included Iran no longer having nuclear weapons. Energy Secretary Chris Wright shared his thoughts with Kristen Welker on Meet the Press over the weekend.
We know where the end point is going to be. The end point is going to be free flow of traffic through the international waters that are the Straits of Hormuz and an end to the Iranian nuclear program. That's where we're going to end. The pathway from here to there, we're going to find out, but that's the end point.
He also said the Trump administration is open to all ideas to lower the cost of gas, including suspending the federal gas tax. As of this morning, the national average is $4.52, a more than 50% increase since that war began. I want to take a look at some local issues concerning gas prices. These are new numbers from AAA. In North Carolina, the average dropped a cent to $4.16. At gas prices around other areas, $4.17 in Raleigh, down 2 cents. Sampson County reports a $4.08 average price. And in Halifax County, the average price is $4.28. Remember, you can always find the lowest gas prices near you with the WRAL Fuel Tracker. Just go to WRAL.com and search the word fuel, and you'll find all that pertinent information. Well, it's the start of several events this week for the community to take a moment to support officers who have died in the line of duty. 25 Wake County fallen officers will be honored this morning. Among them, Roger Smith, Gabriel Torres, Ned Bird. Let's get over to Ali Cadlebar now reporting on this story.
Yeah, Ken, and we are starting to see Wake County Sheriff's deputies show up as well as Raleigh police officers start to get set up for this event. This is, as you said, the start of several events this week for the community to just take a moment and honor those who have died in the line of duty. Now, 25 Wake County fallen officers will be honored this morning. Among them, Roger Smith, Gabriel Torres, and Ned Bird. Officer Smith was shot and killed in the WakeMed Garner emergency room last November. Raleigh police officer Gabriel Torres was shot and killed during the Hedingham mass shooting in 2022. And Wake County Deputy Ned Bird was shot and killed while on duty in 2022 as well. There's going to be several events this week coordinated by the Raleigh Police Department Foundation to honor law enforcement officers. The ceremony this morning starts at 10:30. It's here at the Hayes Barton Baptist Church. Now, you're also going to notice the WRAL tower will be lit in blue this week starting at 7 p.m. And you're going to see that because it's honoring National Police Week. You're also going to see several buildings lit up in blue in downtown Raleigh as well. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Cadlebar, WRAL News.
Top now 841, paying content creators to bring visitors to North Carolina. WRAL Investigate reveals how your tax dollars are being used and whether it's really paying off. Also, production paused. A popular sausage brand made right here in our state is not operating right now. The health concerns investigators are looking into at the moment.
And there's some rain just to our north up into Virginia. I'll let you know when and if it will sink far enough southward to bring you any showers. 8:45, and you can see that rain on up into Virginia. Gradually, that's going to continue to sink southward. As a matter of fact, it looks like we've got a little bit of patchy rain that's starting to show up there in Person County. It will sink southward very slowly, and our chance for rain is only about 30%. So it's really just our northern counties that are likely to see it around lunchtime. Same story as we get into the evening commute. It's just a very small chance that anybody sees any rain out of this system. In Apex, it's nice and dry right now. We look down Salem Street. Our temperatures are comfortably cool, mostly low to mid 60s. 65 in Fayetteville, it's 62 in Raleigh, and 61 in Wilson and Rocky Mount. Exercise forecast looking good right now. Again, just a couple of light showers around lunchtime or during the evening commute. But do notice that our temperature drops this evening. By the time we get to 5 or 6 o'clock, we're down into the low to mid 60s. Coming up, we'll talk more about our one more chance of rain this week. Chris?
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Both directions on I-40 here at Wade Avenue moving nice and smoothly, and that's really been the case for much of the morning on most of our main routes. Delay times, hardly any coming into downtown Raleigh. It's down to a 5-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest, but nothing making you late at all coming in from Garner, from Knightdale, from Durham, or from Apex this morning.
46 here in the WRAL Live Center. Good morning. I'm Chris Lovingood, getting you a live look outside of where this is going to be. Cole Allen, you remember he is the person who's accused of being the White House correspondent shooter. He is set to be arraigned this morning, or today, I should say, generally Monday. And his attorneys are arguing right now that the DOJ officials are facing a conflict of interest in this case, and that's why there's a bit of an issue on his side in that regard. But then a Secret Service officer was also struck in the vest and fired 5 shots without hitting anyone. You may recall, of course, there's that video of Cole Allen reportedly running through here. We'll play it real quick where you see him off the screen walking through the security checkpoint, and then one person opening fire in that regard. We'll stay on this story to see what comes out of that arraignment today here in the WRAL Live Center.
Oh, thanks, Chris. Well, heading into this tourism season, WRAL Investigates taking a look at how state spends its precious tourism dollars. Sarah Kruger shares how social media content creators are playing a big role.
This is the story we're working on for tonight at 6. So I noticed some posts on social media from content creators promoting our state, and that made me curious, how often does the state hire them? So I interviewed Visit North Carolina, the state's tourism office, and found out this is an increasingly important way that they are trying to bring tourism to North Carolina. Over the last several years, the office has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars hiring content creators to post on their social media accounts.
There's ways that we can see true engagement with those social media posts or those blog articles or those stories that are written through working with the content creator. So we know early on, is this message resonating? As we have that trackability mechanism, and that's really important.
Tonight at 6, we'll dive into the tourism trends in our state and the challenges Visit NC is facing. Plus, I talked to one of the content creators who has done work for the state, and she gives us some insight onto what things are like on that side of things. Sarah Kruger, WRAL News in Raleigh.
President Trump is expected to visit China later this week. China's foreign ministry confirming the visit over the weekend. The state visit will begin in Beijing Wednesday and last through Friday. The president's visit comes during the conflict in the Middle East and continuing economic tensions between China and the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is meeting with Chinese leaders right now and says he will be in Beijing for the summit. A new AI-powered system is being tested on Florida's East Coast that could help save lives in the water. The new technology, called Seahawk Swimmer Emergency System, is designed to help shorten response times. It uses cameras and GPS monitoring to alert first responders if a life preserver is removed from its station. William Sandberg created it.
The camera is watching them, and the alert is issued to first responders. When the life ring is lifted and they get a call, pops up, it's precisely, and they know right where that is, that's where and they go right to the right place.
Local first responders say while the technology is showing promise in testing, but it has not been used yet in real emergencies. They also being aware of rip currents and how to swim from one is most important. Well, the stars of the upcoming Mortal Kombat 2 say they remain close even after filming Wrapped, and Netflix's Adolescence still grabbing people's attention. As David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
Earth belongs to me.
We do not kneel!
Our only chance is to face this together.
The cast of Mortal Kombat 2 says they stayed together even after filming concluded, at least online.
We started this nearly 2 years ago, I think it was. Yeah. And we had a group WhatsApp when we first started the film, and we still have that same WhatsApp.
Super active until
and
now.
Every week there's someone posting something throughout the whole thing. So it's been
sending funny videos.
Yeah.
Look at me now!
People are still looking at Adolescence. The Netflix drama capped a year of accolades by topping the BAFTA TV Awards, winning Best Limited Drama and acting honors for Stephen Graham, Christine Tremarco, and Owen Cooper.
Whoa.
We need some water.
I need a martini.
It's a good time to be Stanley Tucci. He's topping the box office in The Devil Wears Prada 2, and his show Tucci in Italy is back as the actor explores Naples, Sardinia, Sicily, and more. Season 2 of Tucci in Italy just debuted on National Geographic. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
All right, should we eat?
Well, let's take you around the North Carolina and locally specifically when it comes to your forecast and check in with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner.
So you probably noticed that it's gray out there, and we do, of course, have some rain that's up to the north. A lot of gray skies, but not a whole lot of rain with this. We'll zoom in, and you can see a few isolated showers here in Person County and the northern part of Granville County and here in Vance County, too. But it's not much. Gradually, this line will sink southward, but it may not sink any farther south than, say, Durham, Wake Forest, Lewisburg. It's just that not a lot of us are going to end up seeing much rain with this. Here's a look at Futurecast, and you can see, again, a little bit of that front trying to dip southward, bringing a few isolated showers right around lunchtime, maybe Durham over toward Franklin County, and then down south, just watch, especially south of Clinton, if you're in the southern part of Sampson County, that's where there's a level 1 risk for severe storms. As the front finally starts to push across our area, notice how the precipitation just falls apart. We did keep that chance of rain just in case it happens to hold together into the evening commute, but just doesn't look great. We have a coastal system that'll start to develop, but slide offshore, and then the cold front that'll swing through. Not a whole lot of rain with either one of these systems. So check out what's happening here in downtown Raleigh. Gray skies right now, and temperatures are cool, mostly low 60s. Wind is out of the northeast at 9 miles per hour. That northeasterly wind will keep things fairly cool for us today. 62 Wake Forest, 62 in Garner, and 60 right now in Chapel Hill. Around town, expect low 70s in the Triangle, but a little farther to the south, it could be closer to 80 degrees. We, of course, if you remember, back in April, had a number of days in the 80s and 90s. The average temperature for April was 66 degrees. So far in May, it has been a lot cooler. The average 61. And we have more cool temperatures in our forecast. High temperatures either at or below normal for the next week ahead until we get to the weekend. And then we're looking at upper 80s to around 90.
All right, before we go to break, here's a look at your winning lottery numbers right there on your screen. We'll get another check of weather and traffic after the break.